The dark side of women who are clubbing. Hello everybody, and welcome to One Mail. In this video, I'm going to share with you the brutal truth about women at nightclubs. A lot of guys go out thinking that they are going to have a good time and meet some beautiful women, but they don't know that these women are out for one thing only, their benefit. They'll use all sorts of tactics to take advantage of unsuspecting men, so be warned. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this in the future. I haven't visited a nightclub in more than 5 years. I haven't considered the complexity of male-female relationships in nightclubs in at least a decade. I believe that lounges are ludicrous. Now that it's winter in Toronto, Canada, you can see hundreds of females braving the elements, in short, tiny skirts and high heels, to attend such clubs. Since taking the red pill, I now observe men and women differently. I had a different look at this. When it comes to high heels, most people think of them as being a strictly feminine fashion accessory. However, it's important to remember that these shoes can also have a powerful effect on the opposite sex. For example, studies have shown that men tend to rate women as more attractive when wearing heels. This is likely since heels elongate the legs, giving the woman a more elegant and sensual appearance. In addition, research has also suggested that men find women who are wearing heels to be more flirtatious and sexually available. So, the next time you slip on a pair of stilettos, remember that you may be turning more than just heads. You may also be sending out some powerful signals to the opposite sex. According to a new study published in the journal Evolution and Human Behavior, high heels may give women an advantage in persuasion. The study found that women who wore high heels were more likely to get what they wanted from men than when they wore flats. High heels offer a few advantages when it comes to persuasion. First, high heels make a woman look more attractive and self-confident. This can be helpful in situations where a woman needs to convince a man to do something. Second, high heels make a woman's legs look longer and her walk more graceful. This can be helpful in situations where a woman needs to convince a man that she is worth his time and attention. Finally, high heels have increased a woman's body language cues, making her appear more open and friendly. This can be helpful in situations where a woman needs to build rapport with a man. In one scenario, a lady waited on the street and observed passers-by, and 25 of 60 males who approached her in apartments agreed to halt and take the pull. When a lady wore 2-inch heels, 36 out of 6 guys consented to complete the same poll, and when she wore 4-inch heels, the proportion increased to 49 out of 60 men, or almost 8 to 2%. This subconscious behavioral adjustment makes a guy more likely to become a man-giner. That 18% of males who aren't very helpful to women in high heels have passed the exam. When you see a lady wearing high stiletto heels outdoors or inside a club, remember that such shoes will make 8 to 2% of men more helpful to her. This is intended to get us to buy them drinks, pay for their meal, or cover their bottle service. Isn't it strange that high heels are an emblem of oppressive patriarchy? How can high heel shoes, which encourage men to be more kind to women, be authoritative? Because of female supremacy over males, ladies often have dozens or hundreds of pairs of shoes. The piece I read from the Huffington Post references a French scientific investigation. I could make a whole video on women's shoes, and I probably will in the future, but I believe the problem with shoes extends beyond just squandering money on them, as most men see it. Clubbing, in my view, is all about power and prestige for both men and women. I recall going out with ladies in flat-heeled shoes and trousers rather than high heels and miniskirts and being passed by bouncers because higher heels made women look more vulnerable outside the club. Bouncers are more inclined to allow them in if they look like they know what they are doing, and stepping inside a club makes women seem helpless, and thereby attract the notice of passing men. Ladies are wooing males for their resources outside of clubs to safeguard those poor frigid women shivering together on the street in their 4-inch heels, so they are more willing to purchase drinks to warm them up. As a result, the man's sympathy sentiments have already been inflamed and disturbed by the time they both go inside. As a result, he is more likely to offer her what she desires. I began attending all-ages events and nightclubs when I was 15 years old. These meetings did not provide alcohol unless you were 19 or older, and the participants varied from 14 to late 20s, with the bulk of the ladies in these clubs being between the ages of 14 and 18. In the 1990s, the legal age of consent in Canada was 14, therefore, picking up 14 or 15-year-olds to sleep with was perfectly legal. I didn't realize it when I was younger, but I had lost interest in club culture by my early 20s. I may have gone to all ages clubs in my 20s and met adolescent females who hadn't been on the carousel in years. And the majority of those females were still young, innocent, and as physically and emotionally lovely as they could be. However, instead of playing the field, I chose relationships. It should have been taught in high school sex education, but by the time I was in my early 20s, clubs had lost their allure. Girls expected you to pay for them for drinks because older men would, and you would be jailed if you didn't. After 1 o'clock in the morning, ladies pube everywhere, and taxi drivers are often frightened to pick up vomiting clients. Most cabbies earn money on weekends, but not when one of your clients pukes all over the taxi. Women have been using their social resources to influence men for centuries, and the nightclub scene is no different. Whether batting their eyelashes or sweet-talking the bouncer, ladies often get into clubs more quickly than their male counterparts. And while some people may see this as unfair, the truth is that women are better at networking than men. By keeping track of which bouncers are lenient and which clubs offer free entry, women can create a web of contacts that gives them an advantage in nightlife. So next time you find yourself waiting in line while your female friends glide past the velvet rope, remember that they are just using their powers for good. I've seen this firsthand, and it's often repulsive. Once inside a nightclub, women often abuse males by convincing them to purchase drinks. Unfortunately, most males who go to clubs in Canada nurse the same 1 or 2 drinks all night to afford to buy drinks for ladies. In addition, some men drink before going out, so they may become drunk and pay for their and the women's beverages. Men who start purchasing women's booze fail the ship test and lose respect since, in the United States, you can quickly get drunk for $20 to $30 by buying girls drinks and food. However, it is typically $50 or $60 in Canada, owing to higher alcohol costs. In my early 20s, I witnessed a wet t-shirt contest in a Florida nightclub, a delightful competition in females grinding up into me, things that would never happen in Canada. From the outside, drinking clubs seem like a lot of fun. They are a great way to meet new people and socialize and usually involve free-flowing alcohol. However, drinking clubs have a dark side that many people don't realize until they are in their early to mid-20s. By then, most people have outgrown the club scene and are looking for something more mature. But those still stuck in the club circuit find themselves wasting their time on something that is no longer fulfilling. Alcohol becomes a crutch, and partying becomes a way to avoid responsibility. If you're in your 20s and still going to drinking clubs, it's time to reevaluate your priorities. There are better ways to spend your time than getting wasted every weekend. If you like clubbing, make sure not to go out to meet women. If girls use bouncers and guys to buy them drinks, don't expect them to use you for their first opportunity. Likewise, if you're looking for a lasting relationship, you might want to steer clear of ladies you meet while partying. I'm not saying that all ladies you meet in clubs are bad news, far from it. However, most of my friends who have dated ladies they met while clubbing has had short-lived relationships. There are a few reasons for this. When you meet someone in a club, you typically only see them in that specific context. You don't get to know them as a person, so it's harder to develop a real connection. Clubbing is often associated with drinking and other risky behaviors, which can lead to conflict down the road. Many people go to clubs specifically to hook up, so there's always the risk that your partner is only interested in sex, not a relationship. So if you're looking for something more serious, it might be best to steer clear of the club scene. My few friends that are club managers all lost money. Anyone who's been to a club knows it's not uncommon for women to get in for free while men have to pay a cover charge. It's also not unusual for women to drink for free while men have to buy overpriced drinks. And let's not even get started on how much easier it is for women to get into VIP areas. It all adds up to the fact that ladies always seem to come out ahead while everyone else loses when it comes to clubs. Of course, some might say that this is the way things are, and there's nothing we can do about it. I want to talk to you about the men going their own way movement. You've probably heard a lot about it lately, but is it getting popular? How famous is this concept now? In my latest video, I will break it down for you and explain why more and more people are choosing this lifestyle, especially celebrities. So make sure to check it out.